The hardest working person in the room is usually the poorest. Let that sink in. You wake up at 5 a.m., you skip lunch, you answer emails at midnight. Your competitors sleep 8 hours while you grind on 4. And yet, they're scaling, you're struggling. This isn't about effort, it's about physics. Here's what nobody tells you. Effort without direction is just expensive motion. It burns fuel, it creates heat, but it doesn't create momentum. Think of a rocket. A rocket that fires its thrusters in random directions uses the same energy as one aimed at orbit. Same fuel, same fire, different outcome. One reaches space, the other explodes on the launch pad. You're the second rocket, and you don't even know it. Meet Sarah. She ran a digital marketing agency. 70-hour weeks, every week, for 3 years. She was the first one online, last one to log off. She handled client calls, managed projects, wrote proposals, fixed technical issues, trained new hires, and somehow found time to post on LinkedIn about hustle culture. Her revenue? Flat. Her profit? Disappearing. Her health? Collapsing. She came to me not asking how to work harder. She couldn't. Physically impossible. She asked the question that saves lives. What am I doing wrong? Nothing. And everything. Sarah wasn't lazy. She was trapped in the effort centrifuge, spinning faster and faster, generating enormous force, but going nowhere. The centrifuge doesn't care about your intentions. It doesn't reward effort. It obeys physics. And the physics of business success is completely different from the physics of employee success. That's the trap. You climbed the career ladder by working harder than everyone else. You got promoted because you said yes. You earned trust by being available. Those were the rules. Then you started a business, and you brought those rules with you. Fatal mistake. Employees trade time for money. Linear relationship. Work more hours, make more money. Simple physics. But business owners, they trade leverage for money. Exponential relationship. Create the right system once, earn from it forever. Completely different game. Different physics. Different rules. You're playing basketball with football equipment. No wonder you're losing. The effort centrifuge has 4 chambers. 4 mechanisms that trap hard-working people in cycles of expensive motion. Each one feels productive. Each one destroys your business. Let me show you the machinery. The presence trap is the first chamber. Your brain believes that being present equals creating value. This made sense when you were an employee. Your boss paid for your time. Your presence was the product. But now, your presence is often the opposite of value. Every hour you spend in the business is an hour you're not working on the business. Michael Gerber explained this in his E-Myth studies, but nobody listens. He showed that businesses fail not because owners lack skill, but because they confuse being a technician with being an entrepreneur. Sarah was the best marketer in her agency, so she kept doing marketing. Client after client, campaign after campaign. She was creating value, right? Wrong. She was creating revenue, but she was destroying enterprise value. Every campaign she personally executed made her business more dependent on her. Every client relationship she personally managed became a liability on her balance sheet. Because the day she got sick, got tired, or got smart and tried to step back, that value disappeared. Here's the biology. Your prefrontal cortex loves the feeling of completion. Finishing a client project gives you a dopamine hit. Immediate, tangible, measurable. Your brain evolved to reward completed tasks with pleasure. Hunt the rabbit, eat the rabbit, feel good. Simple loop. But building systems? That's abstract. That's delayed. That's uncertain. No immediate dopamine. Your ancient brain doesn't understand ROI, spreadsheets, and organizational charts. It understands, I closed the deal, and I delivered the project. So you keep hunting rabbits while your competitors build rabbit farms. The math is brutal. Let's say you're worth $200 an hour doing client work. You feel productive, right? But what if that same hour spent building a training system could create 10 employees who each generate $100 an hour of gross profit? That's not $200. That's $1,000 per hour forever. But you won't do it, because building the system doesn't feel like work. It feels like procrastination. Your nervous system is lying to you. Sarah spent 16 hours one week personally managing a difficult client. She felt exhausted. She felt accomplished. She posted about perseverance. But that 16 hours could have built a client management protocol that would handle 10 difficult clients simultaneously without her involvement. The opportunity cost wasn't 16 hours. It was thousands of hours. Forever. This is the presence trap. Your hard work is making you poor. The way out starts with a simple question. Would this task exist if I doubled my prices and halved my client load? If yes, systematize it. If no, eliminate it. Sarah started tracking her hours in two categories: task completion and system creation. First week, 65 hours on tasks, 0 on systems. Her business wasn't a business. It was a job with extra anxiety and no benefits. She forced a new rule. Every Friday, 4 hours minimum on system creation, no exceptions, no client emergencies, no guilt. 4 hours building training docs, process videos, decision trees, and templates. Within 3 months, she had documented 70% of her core processes. Within 6 months, she hired 2 people who could execute those processes without her supervision. Her hours dropped to 30 per week. Her revenue increased 18%. Same effort? No. Less effort. Better physics. The urgency vortex is the second chamber. This one's subtle, deadly. Your business runs on urgency. Client needs this by tomorrow. Payroll's due Friday. Website's down. Email's broken. Competitor launched something new. Employee quit. Every day is a fire. Every fire feels important. Your adrenal glands are pumping cortisol like a broken faucet. You're in permanent fight or flight mode. And here's the trick. Urgency is addictive. Dr. Robert Sapolsky at Stanford studied stress response in primates. He found something disturbing. Chronic stress rewires your brain to seek more stress. Your amygdala enlarges. Your hippocampus shrinks. You lose the ability to distinguish between real threats and manufactured urgency. Everything feels critical. Everything feels now. Your stress response system becomes hypersensitive. You're no longer responding to emergencies, you're creating them, subconsciously. Because your brain is now addicted to the cortisol adrenaline cocktail that urgency provides. This is why successful entrepreneurs seem so calm. They're not special. They're not enlightened. They've just escaped the urgency vortex. They've retrained their nervous system to distinguish between important and urgent. Eisenhower's matrix isn't a productivity tool. It's a biological intervention. Important but not urgent is where businesses are built. But you never get there, because urgent but not important keeps screaming. Sarah's day was a carousel of urgency. Client email at 8 a.m. needs response now. Team member has a question at 10 a.m. needs answer now. Proposal due at noon needs writing now. Technical issue at 2 p.m. needs fixing now. By 6 p.m., she hadn't done a single important thing. Not one. She'd answered 47 urgent things. None of them moved her business forward. None of them created enterprise value. She was running full speed on a treadmill. Heart rate elevated, calories burned, distance traveled, 0. The mathematics of urgency are deceptive. Responding to an urgent request feels like productivity. You helped someone. You solved something. Dopamine. But each urgent response creates 2 more urgent requests. Because you've trained people that you respond to urgency. You've created a system where urgency is the only language that gets your attention. Your team stops planning. Your clients stop preparing. Everyone just waits until it's urgent because that's when you act. You built the vortex yourself. Here's the escape mechanism. Scheduled unavailability. Sounds simple, it's not. Your nervous system will fight you. Sarah blocked 9 a.m. to noon every day. Deep work only. No email, no Slack, no calls. Her team panicked. Her clients protested. She held firm. First week was agony. Her amygdala screamed that everything was burning. It wasn't. Second week, something shifted. People started solving their own problems. Her team scheduled their questions for afternoon. Her clients planned ahead. The urgent requests didn't disappear. They just stopped being urgent because the system adapted to her availability instead of her availability adapting to the system. Within a month, Sarah's important work hours tripled. She redesigned her service model. She built strategic partnerships. She created content that generated inbound leads. None of this is possible in urgency mode. Your prefrontal cortex needs space to think strategically. It needs time to connect disparate ideas. It needs energy to evaluate trade-offs. The urgency vortex depletes all 3. You're making decisions with a brain that's in survival mode. Of course you're failing. The revenue addiction is the 3rd chamber. This one kills more businesses than competition ever will. You're chasing revenue like it's oxygen. Every new client feels like validation. Every sale feels like progress. Your brain has conflated revenue with success. It hasn't. Revenue is vanity. Profit is sanity. Cash is reality. But you don't feel that. You feel revenue. Here's why. Revenue is visible. Your competitors post their revenue. Industry reports measure revenue.
Investors ask about revenue. Your ego is tied to revenue, so you optimize for it. You say yes to bad clients. You discount to close deals. You add services you shouldn't offer. You expand into markets you don't understand. All in pursuit of the revenue number. Meanwhile, your profit margins are getting thinner. Your operational complexity is exploding. Your cash conversion cycle is lengthening. You're building a bigger business that's worth less. Sarah had this disease. She was proud of crossing $500,000 in revenue. She posted about it. Her peers congratulated her. Her parents were impressed. But her profit margin was 11%, $55,000, before paying herself. She was working 70 hours a week to make $55,000. That's $14 per hour. She could have made more managing a Starbucks, with health insurance, and weekends. The biology here is status-seeking behavior. Humans are hierarchical primates. We're hardwired to compete for position. Revenue is a visible status marker. Profit is invisible. So your primitive brain pushes you to optimize for revenue even when it destroys your quality of life. This is why entrepreneurs brag about revenue but hide their profit margins. Revealing low profits feels like admitting weakness. But low profits are weakness. They're not a feeling. They're mathematics. Let me show you the compound trap. Low-profit clients require the same operational overhead as high-profit clients, sometimes more. They negotiate harder, they complain more, they churn faster, but they count the same in your revenue number. So you keep them. You even pursue more of them, because growing revenue feels like progress. You've built a poverty machine that looks like a business. Sarah did an exercise that changed everything. She calculated profit per client, not revenue, profit. Then she ranked every client by profit contribution. The top 20% of her clients generated 85% of her profit. The bottom 30% were net negative after accounting for her time. She was subsidizing bad clients with profit from good clients while working herself to death for the privilege. Madness. She made a decision that felt insane. She fired the bottom 30%. Immediately. In 1 month. Her revenue dropped 22%. Her peers thought she was failing. Her parents were worried. But her profit margin went from 11% to 31%. Her hours dropped from 70 to 45. Her profit dollars actually increased because she wasn't burning money on unprofitable complexity. She took the freed capacity and served her best clients even better. They referred friends who looked like them. High profit, low drama. Within 6 months, her revenue was back to the previous level, but now she was making 3 times the profit on fewer hours with less stress.
This is what wealthy business owners understand that struggling owners don't. Subtraction is often more profitable than addition. Every yes is also a no. Yes to a bad client is no to a good one. Yes to low margin revenue is no to high margin profit. Yes to urgent busy work is no to important strategic work. The math doesn't care about your feelings. The math doesn't applaud your hustle. The math just compounds in the direction you point it. The way through the revenue addiction is painful honesty. Calculate your true hourly profit, not revenue per hour, profit per hour. Include all your hours, the nights, the weekends, the mental load that keeps you awake. Now compare that number to what you'd make in a senior job. If it's less, you don't have a business. You have an expensive hobby. This isn't judgment, it's measurement. And measurement is the first step to management. The complexity spiral is the 4th chamber. This one's invisible until it kills you. You start simple. 1 service, 1 process, 1 type of client. Then you grow. Client asks for something adjacent. You say yes. Another client wants a custom solution. You say yes. A competitor offers something new. You add it. Slowly, quietly, your business becomes a hydra. 7 service lines, 14 processes, 23 types of clients. Each one requires different delivery, different pricing, different marketing, different support. Your operational load isn't linear, it's factorial. Here's the mathematics that nobody teaches you. Complexity grows exponentially, but your capacity grows linearly. Add 1 new service, you don't add 10% more work, you add 30%. Because that service needs its own processes, its own marketing, its own quality control, its own troubleshooting. It interacts with all your existing services. Those interactions create edge cases. Edge cases create exceptions. Exceptions create meetings. Meetings create delays. Delays create urgency. Urgency creates the vortex. You're back in the centrifuge. Research from MIT's Operations Research Center shows that operational complexity is the primary driver of business failure in service companies. Not competition, not market conditions. Complexity.
Because complexity has a carrying cost that doesn't show up on your P&L until it's too late. That cost is your attention, your energy, your decision-making capacity. Every additional point of complexity consumes a slice of your cognitive load. Death by 1,000 cuts. Sarah's agency had grown into a monster. She offered social media management, content marketing, email campaigns, SEO, paid advertising, web design, and brand strategy. 7 different services, each requiring different skills, different software, different team structures, different client expectations. She thought this made her competitive, full-service agency, one-stop shop. Reality? She was mediocre at 7 things instead of excellent at 2. Worse, her team was constantly context switching. The mental overhead was destroying productivity. Her best people quit. They were exhausted from learning 7 different playbooks instead of mastering 1. She ran a brutal audit. For each service line, she calculated revenue, direct costs, indirect costs including her time, client satisfaction scores, referral rates, and strategic alignment. 5 of the 7 services were either unprofitable or strategically wrong. They existed because she'd said yes, not because they made sense. She cut 5 services in 1 quarter. Her team thought she was giving up. Her clients were confused. Her competitors smelled blood. Opposite happened. By focusing on 2 services, social media management and paid advertising, she became exceptional. Her team developed deep expertise. Her processes became airtight. Her results improved. Her clients got better outcomes. They're not diverse. They're not full service. They're specialists who said no 10,000 times to say yes once. Apple doesn't make 40 products. They make a handful, exceptionally. Berkshire Hathaway doesn't invest in every opportunity. They wait for the perfect pitch. Then they swing hard. This isn't caution. It's mathematics. Complexity kills. Focus compounds. The escape from the complexity spiral requires courage, not intelligence. You already know what to cut. You're afraid to cut it. Because revenue, because sunk cost, because what if? Your brain is running loss aversion protocols. Psychologists Kahneman and Tversky proved that humans feel the pain of loss twice as strongly as the pleasure of equivalent gain. Cutting a service that makes any revenue feels like losing, even if keeping it costs more than it makes. Your nervous system is sabotaging your business. Sarah used a simple forcing function, the 10-10 rule. For every service, ask 2 questions. If we launched this today, knowing what we know, would we do it? If yes, would we bet 10% of our net worth on it?
If the answer to either question is no, cut it immediately. No gradual phase out, no 6-month wind down. Cut it. The short-term pain of cutting is nothing compared to the long-term pain of carrying dead weight. Now here's where it gets interesting. These 4 chambers don't operate independently. They reinforce each other. The presence trap keeps you too busy to notice the urgency vortex. The urgency vortex prevents you from analyzing the revenue addiction. The revenue addiction drives you into the complexity spiral. The complexity spiral demands more of your presence. It's a closed system, a negative flywheel. Each rotation makes the next rotation worse. You're not failing because you're not working hard enough. You're failing because you're trapped in a system that converts effort into entropy. Professor Teresa Amabile at Harvard Business School conducted a massive study on what she calls the progress principle. She analyzed 12,000 diary entries from knowledge workers across 7 companies. Her finding? The single greatest motivator of performance and satisfaction is making meaningful progress on important work. Not pay, not perks, not recognition. Progress. But here's the trap. Urgent work creates the illusion
of progress. You're completing tasks, you're crossing off lists, you're responding. Your brain interprets this as progress. It's not. It's motion. Progress is movement toward a strategic goal. Motion is just activity. Sarah's breakthrough came when she started tracking progress differently. She had two lists: motion tasks and progress tasks. Motion tasks were things that maintained the current business: client delivery, problem solving, communication, administration. Progress tasks were things that improved the business: system building, strategic partnerships, team development, service innovation. For 3 months, she documented every hour. 92% of her time was motion, 8% was progress. No wonder she felt stuck. She was stuck, mathematically. She inverted the ratio. Target became 30% progress minimum every week, non-negotiable. This meant saying no to motion tasks, delegating them, eliminating them, automating them. Her motion brain screamed. Everything felt urgent. Everything felt important. She ignored it. She treated progress time like client time, blocked on calendar, protected fiercely, defended ruthlessly. First month was chaos. Things fell through cracks. Clients complained.
Team was confused. She almost quit the experiment. But then, small things started clicking. A training video she made got used. A process doc prevented a fire. A strategic partnership started generating leads. Progress compounds slowly at first, then suddenly. By month 4, her 30% progress time was generating more business value than her previous 100% motion time. The math had flipped. This is the rocket physics that Buffett understands and broke people don't. You need escape velocity. A rocket sitting on the pad can fire its engines forever. It won't reach orbit. It needs enough thrust to overcome gravity, not match it, overcome it. If your progress equals your entropy, you're hovering, burning fuel, going nowhere. You need excess progress, surplus, margin. That margin is what compounds. That margin is what eventually makes the business work without you. Sarah's business today looks nothing like it did 2 years ago. She works 25 hours per week. Her revenue is 60% higher. Her profit margin is 42%. She has a team of 8 who run daily operations. She spends her time on strategy, partnerships, and product development. Progress work. Her competitors are still grinding, still busy, still broke. They post on LinkedIn about hustle. She doesn't post much anymore. She's too busy being free. Here's what she learned that nobody tells you. The hardest working person in the room is usually optimizing for the wrong variable. They're optimizing for effort, for hours, for visible busyness. The wealthy optimize for leverage, for systems, for multiplication. Effort is additive. Leverage is multiplicative. Effort scales linearly with time. You have 24 hours. That's your ceiling. Leverage scales exponentially with intelligence. You have unlimited intelligence. No ceiling. Think about it mathematically. If you're worth $200 per hour and you work 80 hours per week, you generate $16,000 per week. Sounds impressive, until you realize you're destroying your health, your relationships, and your sanity. Now consider someone who works 20 hours per week but builds a system that generates $400 per hour of value. They generate $8,000 per week. Half your revenue, 1/4 of your hours. But here's the key. Their system is an asset. It can scale. They can add team members. They can raise prices. They can multiply locations. They can sell the business. Your effort is an expense. It can't scale. You can't clone yourself. You can't sell your hours to someone else. You're building a hamster wheel, not a business. The distinction between assets and expenses is what separates business owners from self-employed people.
Self-employed people trade time for money. Business owners trade intelligence for assets that produce money. Self-employed people have high revenue, low profit, and zero transferable value. Business owners have high profit, high transferable value, and time freedom. You think you're building the second. You're building the first. And you don't know it until you try to sell, try to scale, or try to step away. Sarah discovered this accidentally. She got pneumonia, couldn't work for 3 weeks. She panicked. Her business would collapse. Her clients would leave. Her revenue would tank. Opposite happened. Her business ran fine. Because she'd spent the previous year building systems instead of doing tasks. Her team had protocols. Her clients had expectations. Her processes had documentation. The business didn't need her daily presence. It needed her strategic direction. And 3 weeks off gave her the space to provide exactly that. She came back with new ideas, new partnerships, new positioning, none of which she could have conceived while trapped in the centrifuge. This is the ultimate paradox. The less you work in your business, the more valuable your business becomes. Because value in a business isn't revenue, it's transferable profit. Someone buying your business isn't buying your effort. They can't. Your effort leaves when you leave. They're buying a system that produces profit without the original owner. The more dependent your business is on you, the less it's worth. You're working hard to make your business worthless. Brutal. True. The way out isn't more effort. It's different effort. Strategic effort, system-building effort, leverage-creating effort. Sarah stopped asking what needs to be done and started asking what system would make this unnecessary. Different question, different answer, different business. Client keeps asking the same question. Don't answer faster. Build an FAQ. Client needs weekly updates. Don't work harder. Build a dashboard. Employee needs approval for decisions. Don't respond quicker. Build a decision framework. Team needs training on a task. Don't train harder. Build a video library. Every repeated task is a system waiting to be born.
Every fire is a process waiting to be documented. Every personal intervention is a leverage point waiting to be automated. The mathematics of systems are beautiful. Building a system takes 10 times longer than doing the task once. Feels inefficient, feels wasteful. But that system pays dividends forever. Do the task manually 100 times. You've spent 100 units of effort. Build a system once for 10 units, then execute it 100 times for 1 unit each. You've spent 110 units. Seems the same. It's not. Because now you can delegate. Now you can scale. Now you can multiply. The manual approach had linear returns. The system approach has exponential returns. Forever. Here's the leverage equation that changed everything for Sarah. L equals V times S times T. Leverage equals value per unit times scalability times time saved. She evaluated every task through this lens. High-value tasks that can scale and save time, systematize immediately. Low-value tasks that can't scale, eliminate or outsource. Everything else, delegate to lowest capable person. This sounds harsh. It's mathematical. She had been personally writing proposals, high-value task. She was good at it, but it couldn't scale. Only she could write them. So she broke the process into components. Research phase, data gathering, design, writing, review. She documented each component. She created templates. She recorded screencasts. She trained a junior team member. First proposal took her 8 hours.
Teaching the system took 30 hours. Felt like a waste. Until the junior person wrote their first proposal in 6 hours. Second one in 4 hours. By the 10th proposal, they were faster than Sarah, and she was free to focus on strategy. That 30-hour investment now saves her 8 hours per proposal. They write 20 proposals per month. That's 160 hours saved per month. Nearly 4 full work weeks per month. Forever. That's leverage. That's how wealthy people think. They invest time to buy time. Poor people spend time to save money. Wealthy people spend money to save time. Different physics. Now multiply this across every repeated task in your business. The compound effect is staggering. Sarah identified 47 repeated tasks in her first audit. She systematized 27 of them in 6 months. Total investment? 200 hours. Total return? 36 hours saved per week. That's 1,800 hours per year. That's nearly 1 full-time employee. Free. Forever. More importantly, that's 1,800 hours she can now spend on progress instead of motion.
But here's the trap that catches everyone. Building systems feels like you're not working. Your motion-addicted brain rebels. You're not fighting fires. You're not responding to urgency. You're not completing visible tasks. You're writing documentation. You're recording videos. You're building frameworks. It feels like procrastination. Your nervous system doesn't understand that this is the highest value work you can do. So you sabotage yourself. You find urgent tasks to justify your existence. You need to retrain your nervous system to recognize system building as real work, as the most important work. Sarah used a trick from behavioral psychology. She gave herself gold stars. Literally, every hour spent on system building got a gold star on her calendar. Childish? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. Because her brain needed visible progress markers, the stars provided that. Within weeks, she was chasing stars. She wanted to see her calendar fill with gold. Her identity shifted from firefighter to architect, from operator to owner. This shift is everything. The rocket is pointed at orbit now, engines firing in the right direction. But there's one more piece, one more chamber to escape. The identity prison. This is the deepest trap, the one that keeps successful people from becoming free people. You identify as hardworking, as hustler, as grinder. Your self-worth is tied to your effort. Your ego is tied to being busy, being needed, being indispensable. This identity served you as an employee. It's killing you as an owner. Because the goal of a business owner isn't to be indispensable. It's to be unnecessary. Your business should work without you. If it doesn't, you don't own a business. You own a job. And you can't sell a job. You can't scale a job. You can only work it until it works you to death. The research on identity and behavior change is clear. Professor James Clear popularized this, but the science goes back decades. Your actions flow from your identity. If you identify as a hard-working person, you'll find ways to work hard, even when it's counterproductive. Because not working hard threatens your self-concept. Your brain will sabotage efficiency to maintain identity. You need to shift identity from person who works hard to person who builds things that work. Different identity, different actions, different outcomes. Sarah's identity crisis came when her business started running without her. She felt unnecessary, unimportant. Her therapist helped her see the trap. Her ego was attached to being needed.
Every time her team solved a problem without her, her ego felt diminished. She was unconsciously creating problems so she could solve them. She was sabotaging her own systems to maintain her identity as the hero. This is common. This is deadly. The way through is redefining success. Success isn't how hard you work. Success is how little you need to work to achieve your goals. Success isn't being busy. Success is being free. Success isn't being indispensable. Success is building something that dispenses with you. This requires ego death. The death of the hustler identity. The death of the hero complex. The birth of the architect identity. Sarah now measures success by freedom metrics, not effort metrics. How many weeks per year can she take off without revenue declining? How many hours per week does she work? How much profit does she generate per hour worked? What percentage of her time is strategic versus tactical? These are the metrics that matter. These are the metrics that compound into wealth. Here's what the data shows. Businesses that can operate without the owner for 3 months have 7 times higher valuation multiples than owner-dependent businesses. 7 times. Same revenue, same profit, 7 times the exit value. Why? Because the buyer is buying a system, not buying you. Systems have value. Your effort doesn't. This is harsh mathematics. This is reality. The rocket metaphor comes full circle here. A rocket needs enough fuel to reach orbit, but it doesn't need fuel forever. Once you reach orbit, physics changes. Gravity weakens. Momentum carries you. You're no longer fighting to climb. You're cruising. Your business is the same. You need intense effort at first to build systems, to establish processes, to train teams, but that effort has a purpose: to reach escape velocity, to get to the altitude where the business maintains itself, where momentum compounds, where you're no longer pushing, you're steering. Sarah reached orbit 18 months after she started the transformation. Her business now generates profit without her daily involvement. She works on strategy, not tasks. She builds new systems, not fighting old fires. She takes 6 weeks off per year. Her profit per hour is 11 times higher than when she was working 70-hour weeks. Her business valuation has increased by 400%. Not because revenue exploded, because she built something transferable, something that works without her. The door is open now. You can see it. The escape route is clear, but nobody can walk through it for you. You need to make the decision that terrifies your ego and liberates your future. Stop being the hardest working person in your business. Start being the smartest building person in your business. Stop optimizing for effort. Stop optimizing for leverage. Stop trading time for money. Start trading intelligence for assets. The physics is on your side now. The mathematics supports you. The biology is aligned. You just need courage. Courage to say no to urgency. Courage to fire bad clients. Courage to cut complexity. Courage to build systems instead of doing tasks. Courage to let your team make mistakes. Courage to become unnecessary. This is how wealth is built, not through effort, through leverage. Not through time, through systems. Not through being indispensable, through being wise enough to make yourself dispensable. The hardest working person in the room is still the poorest. But now you know why. Now you know the escape route. The centrifuge is still spinning, that you can step out. The rocket can point toward orbit. The door is open. Walk through it.